What? Yeah. Alright, so let's start using the clicker. I use the clicker, yeah. Ah, oh, you're recording, right? Well, just put it on. That'll be funny. You know you're wearing the same shirt. So you know you're saying like this.
Yeah, no, every time, man.
Please welcome Jeff Nair. You come to the thing like this. And actually, all very same.
Huh? That's what Minnie said yesterday. That's not my fat, dude. It was fucking cheap.
You're fucking wanting it.
I hate that. It's the worst part. It's like I get this gizzard. Alright, flipper's good. Water.
What do we do next?
I didn't actually have a time shop.
I what?
No, I was gonna say if they need more snacks, here's a store over here. I can go through real quick.
I drank all of it. I drank all of it. afternoon.
Hey, how you doing? I'm good, thank you.
It's so nice.
I know. This is a secret room that they didn't tell us about.
Oh. Wait,
You're here before. Like one time, I think, or twice.
I think I was in here.
Yeah, you weren't in here?
I feel like I did a podcast with Dustin. I'm pretty sure. No, we're in a bigger. Never mind. No, it definitely wasn't here because this was back.
Oh.
So I have seen this secret room.
One first time in this one.
Can I have one case of chicken? Whoever brought it.
I did, sure.
All right, everyone gather around real quick. I'm gonna make some noise real quick. Gather around. Good evening, guys. How you guys doing today? Good? Good. My name is Armani. Omega, the name of our company is Pension Transamerica Company. We're actually excited to have you guys out here tonight. Welcome to the event, second event actually, for finances. We're gonna get started right now. We're gonna kick it off with some nice prizes. We like prizes, by the way. So everyone, that ticket that you guys got when you first came in, take it out real quick. We're gonna go ahead and go raffle, get you guys a prize started off, okay? So let's go ahead and do this. All right, you guys ready? Yes. All right. First number is 4, 9, 6, 6, 0, 4, 1. 4, 9, 6, 0. She was saving that. That's awesome. Well, again, guys, good evening. Welcome out again. Thanks for coming out. And it's clear to you guys come out as well because you're going to understand that we're doing something that not most financial institutions are opening their doors to teach you guys financial literacy. One of the things that's a very big topic in the world right now is finance. I was talking to Monica about it. It's like an auction. You ever heard that saying, auction is kind of hurt? A lot of people just like that out of the world right now. And you're really oblivious to what's going on around. Think about what happened in 2008, 45% of income retirement tax really managed, right? I mean, think about what's going to happen in the market for us again. A lot of people out there who live very quiet lives of desperation need help like us to go ahead and educate them on the right ways how to do their finances, right? So what we're doing is we're taking out that dirt, out of that dirt, know what's going on around. You guys are actually in good positions to learn some new things. Some of the things you might learn today might be something you already know. Some of the things that you learn today actually might be something that you don't know. I just ask you guys to take those notes and sit down and read stuff out into the fabric of the actually, we're going to go in this room right here. We're gonna go do our presentation. You guys walk in the room and go ahead and fill up the front row seats first. Justin's gonna be passing out some things along with Alexis as well. And we're gonna go ahead and get started. How that sound? All right.
I just got on here, like literally my phone, dude.
No, you're not.
Well, thank you, sir. Samantha, watch that.
Yes, she does. Put it on Sam's tab.
You guys go up front, please, and Sam
Front.
and oh, gosh, you never listen.
Winners fight for the front. Rules are meant to be right.
Front row back.
Nobody wants to.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, act natural.
Come to thy front. Alexis fights
Anybody need pens? Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Right?
It's good chair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing tonight?
Good
Good.
evening.
Good. We need a little bit more energy. I know everyone's probably just got off work. Kind of high your eyes open, probably not hard. But it's almost the end of the week. It's almost a big weekend. You're about to get some incredible information that's going to make your even better weekend. So,
Woo.
how's everyone doing tonight?
Yeah.
So, to get some even more in, I'm going to give out another door prize. So, if I can continue, get ready. Okay. Rupert is door prize. 4966035.
Yes. Got it.
Yay. Woo.
First time in my life I've ever won
Prize
anything.
is truly a prize. So thank you for Rich, Napoleon,
Wow.
and
All right. You'll be my sauce.
oh yeah,
Get ready.
I didn't even see you.
Shoot, let me get it.
All right. We'll be doing more door prizes later. All right, so everyone's doing good. That's really good to hear. We always want to keep high energy. That's kind of our job. We have to keep our energy level matching the importance of what we do as a company. Obviously, what's more important than teaching people how to have their money work harder for them when they're working for it. That's Justin's goal for you all tonight, is to learn some of those things. So, the objective for today is to have an epiphany. So, it's basically a sudden manifestation or perception of the essential nature or meaning. So, basically, an aha moment. That's what we want. An aha moment is like, oh, this makes sense. And a change. So, different isn't always better, but better is always different. ground rules, just make sure you make the most of this experience tonight. Be open-minded to new ideas that may even be counterintuitive. Keep your eyes open, keep your mind open to any given year. Be willing to suspend your disbelief. Please withhold justifying why you are or are not currently doing certain things. So the information you see up here, just hold from justifying why or why you don't do it. Remember that today is the first day of the rest of your life. Same thing. That's what I have at this event. So sit back, relax, smile, and have the biggest round. So your MCs, earlier you did hear Armani, he introduced the whole event. So just some background information on him. He's the youngest senior associate in Georgia. Also originally from New York. Yes, Brooklyn, New York.
Queens.
And then he's on track to be the youngest executive marketing director in
Woo!
top 6 of the next year. And then me. I'm a Kentucky native. A little bit further from New York. I have a bachelor's degree in PR and identified as a rising star. And then, of course, your main speaker for today. Same shirt. How?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just good at this. We're in the same
Oh,
shirt.
my
That's
goodness.
perfect.
He took that picture today. I'm joking.
Yeah,
There we go.
so yes, so your keynote speaker for tonight is Justin Earhart, California native, so we are from all across the country. Two-time Air Force combat veteran. Woo! Service. Previous firefighter as well. Now a hero of the team. Has a bachelor's degree in justice, a bachelor's in business administration, with a concentration in small business leadership, and fifth year full-time financial professional in expansion direction. Please help me welcome Mr. Justin Earhart.
Right? Anyways. Yeah, no, I lost weight since then. It's like my face mostly. Anybody else, like, as soon as you gain weight, your face is the first thing? You know, some girls are like, oh, it's my thighs and my butt. Me, I'm like, these cheeks get bad first. So, all right, since I like doing stuff, especially giving things away, I'm gonna ask you guys a question. So let's be interactive. Is it all right if we can have a good conversation today?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Somebody tell me where Alexis is originally from. Besides my associates. Somebody tell me. Well, time out now. Tell me where Armani is from.
Not Queens, Brooklyn.
I'm from Queens.
Oh, you're.
So look, I have $100 bills. These are not counterfeit. You can definitely go to the store with them afterwards. And you also have $100 grand or payday in here too. So yeah, watch out. So I'm very interactive. I love this part of my career. It's great. I'm gonna ask you guys questions periodically. Inside of your packets, you have a multitude of things. There is blank sheets of paper. If you guys, obviously, I want you to take notes. But the biggest thing we're gonna talk about, first and foremost, who won the Think and Grow Rich book? I think Russ, you got that, right?
I got that one.
Who has read Think and Grow Rich? Who has not? Okay, let me tell you why that is the most impactful book I've honestly ever read. I read it literally every quarter because it deals with the mindset. You guys understand that money and lack thereof is really a mindset thing, right? So what I want you guys to do is pull out your blank piece of paper first, and I want you guys to put a line down the middle of it, halfway. It doesn't have to be full page. So, line halfway. Or, I don't care which way, hot dog flavored water way, hamburger way, however it is, just a line middle of it, about halfway down. Okay? On the left side, I want you to write bad. That's spelled B-A-D. In case you guys know. Robbie, I'm gonna help you do this, okay? B-A-D. No, not that.
H-A-T. Silent letter in there.
Yeah, it's like night. The K is silent.
Knight.
Knight. And then on the right side, what do you think I want you to write on the right side? Oh my gosh, you guys are.
Great.
This is going great, right? Good, all right? So on the left side where it says bad, as soon as I say the word money, what are some bad thoughts that come to your head? So write them down on the left-hand side when I talk about money.
Now, oh, okay, like I was about to say,
Bad
in terms of what we
Retail
do
therapy.
bad.
Yeah, like what are your instant thoughts about money that are bad?
Losing it.
Write it down. Maybe take that thing.
Hey, left-handed people. Wrong-handed.
Who is looking? Okay, I should take my left-handed. Nope, that's right. I was watching. Yeah, look at watch you right when you're left-handed. Alright, when you're done with that, I want you to write some good things that come to your mind about money. What are some great things that come to your mind when it comes to money? Alright, who would like to give me an example of what you put down for bad?
Spending too much unnecessary.
Okay, so spending on things you don't need to. Who else? Target, yeah. You ever go to Target, like, you know, what do you get from Target? I don't know, Target will tell me when I get there. You know,
Target's just like Walmart. It's just danger zone.
I didn't know I needed that, but I know.
What else what other things are bad with money that you think about?
Greedy.
Greed? Yeah. There's some pretty greedy people out there, right? If you guys had $1 million, what would you do with it? Alright, so keep my number so when you guys get $1 million, you know where to give it to, right? What else is bad thoughts that come up about money? Not having enough? What's that? Borrowing too much, getting in debt. What are some good things about money? Target. Yeah, sounds like Target's good and bad, right?
Bad thing.
Yeah.
You're able to budget better too, because
Okay.
it's like you can like have a distinct amount for like vacations, bills, etc. You can like budget better.
Okay, so your cash flow,
More freedom, you know.
more freedom.
Be smart.
Security in the future.
Yeah, security's a big thing, right? Because wouldn't you guys agree that a lot of senior citizens are running into or having to work longer now because they can't retire?
Yeah.
So money, you know, again, a lot of people on the bad side, they'll say, well, money is root of all evil. The Bible doesn't say money is root of all evil. It says the greed and the lust of money is root of all evil. The love of it, right? So bad people are going out there getting money, no matter what. They're gonna hustle, they're gonna do everything they have to get money. So we need more good people with money, because if good people have money, we're gonna do good things for the community, right? Like you guys instantly, when I said, if you had $1 million, you'd be like, I'm gonna find ways to give it back, do something impactful for the communities. That's what we have to be focused on. So a couple disclaimers in this. First and foremost, I am not doing this presentation to constitute investment advice and not offer to sell, solicitation, buy any security or an insurance product. It's a power presentation, does not guarantee any rate of return on any particular investments. Nothing in this presentation be construed as rendering tax, legal, investment, or accounting advice. It is designed for educational purposes only. Information contained in this presentation is time sensitive and may need to be adjusted due to changes in securities, insurance, or tax laws. You will not learn everything in an hour. Okay? Sorry. Sorry, disappoint you. That's why we have it happen every year for cleaning your finances. So first and foremost, the mission. I do not believe in any company, any business, if you don't know what the mission and vision is of the company, you should not spend money with it. Let's be honest, right? Like the supplements I use are as first form. I only use them because Andy Purcell, the founder of their mission and vision, correlates with what I like doing. So I only spend money with what I relate to really well, right? So when it comes down to it, no family should be left behind. How many of you guys would agree the wealthy understand more about money than we do? Anybody? Right? So when we went to school, what were they teaching you in high school?
Not busy.
Everything but money, right? They teach you how to draw plant cells. You know, they teach you about the riboflavin or whatever the heck it is. You know, teach you about geography. How many of you guys use Siri or a map to get here? I did, so I was coming from the Atlanta airport. I'm like, I don't know how to drive this place, right? So I don't need to know geography. People are like, well, point to, like North Dakota on the map. Like, why? What's the capital of it? I don't care, right? But when's the last time you guys used money? Target sounds like today, We use money all the time, don't we? You get paid every 2 weeks or every week or however you get paid. Then money comes in, money goes out. So what we want to be focused on doing is my clicker working. Family A. A lot of people come from family A, right? They have $100,000 or less. They have a job. They're saving in their company's 401k. They have some sort of term life or life insurance through their company if they're able to. They put money in the bank. They rent, credit card debt, student loan debt. They don't understand tax advantages or anything, right? How many of you guys know someone that falls in this category? Typically ourselves, right? A lot of the wealthy in America, they have $250,000 or more coming in every single year. They own businesses. They have the right type of life insurances. They're homeowners. They have a diversified portfolio. They don't have typically debt. They leverage debt. There's a difference between buying debt and leveraging debt, right? So we'll talk more about that. They understand tax advantages. They have a financial professional. Again, that's a very small percentage population. Have you guys ever heard the term the rich are getting richer and the poor getting poor? Why is that? Because we don't have education. We don't learn about the most important aspects of our life, which is money, right? So we're going to go into these concepts today, and I want you guys to get to be interactive, take some notes, and like Alexis said, let's have some fun, all right? Can we agree to that?
Yeah.
You don't have fun or throw stuff at you. I may throw stuff at Samantha, just the principle, which is me. I do want to publicly thank Samantha and Cornerstone for helping us set this up. She and I, we mess each other too much, but I am very so. Anyways, when it comes down to your financial success, there's really 6 steps inside of it that we have to be focused on. But understanding how these steps impact your financial future is what's the most important part, versus just like trying to wing it, right? You guys ever been driving around and maybe like, hey, let's go stop at McCrae's and go get some dinner? Like that's winging it, which is fine. But winging it with your financial future, as we're seeing with a lot of senior citizens, is what's actually crippling our country. People are stuck. And again, like Armani said, they're living that secret life of desperation. A lot of people are needing help. So we want to help give them a makeover. Ladies, how many of you honestly would love like one of those TLC makeovers, right? With like your fashion thing, your face on. I don't know how that works. Like, y'all know. Guys, what do we want? A makeover on our car, like, right? Like, I don't know, like pimp my ride. Yeah, let's do that. But let's pimp your ride with your money. How about that, all right? So I don't even know if that show's still on. Right? Dude, I am, right? So who used to do that? Ice Tea? I don't know.
Wait a minute.
I see.
She got the icy.
Whatever, man. There's so many T's and ices in the rap game. Anyways, what we believe is that we believe a lot of the financial side requires an action plan. When I was in the military, we didn't just randomly go off base to go do random stuff in Iraq. Just be like, let's go drive around, figure this stuff out. No, we had a specific action plan. If we were going to go hit a target, we had an action plan of what we were doing, security, internal operations inside the location. You have to have a plan.
That target, sir?
What's that?
That target, sir?
Yeah, they're targeting the Middle East. Theirs is a little different. They're different types of targets. We were typically the targets that they were going after. So, but anyways, you have to have an action plan, and again, it has to be revisited every year because don't circumstances change in your life? It seems like all the dang time, right? How many of you guys have ever had a plan and then like you're like nothing's going according to plan at all? Like Mike Tyson said, it's good to have a plan until you get hit in the mouth. Then your plan goes out the window, right? You ever been in a fight? It's like, okay, I'm gonna run. What happened? What am I doing? That's what happens to a lot of people's financial plans. Get a Mike Tyson style punch in their face. So it doesn't matter where you're at in life, whether you're very educated in financial stuff, if you're not, you're just starting off, you're older, you're younger, it doesn't matter. It's a starting point today. So the fact you guys are here is going to be able to establish a better future for you coming up because it is very uncertain if you don't have some sort of plan. So there's 6 areas we're going to really look at today. Want to look at debt management. How many people would agree that debt is crippling families in our country?
Yeah.
Right?
It's the number 1 root of divorces.
Number 1. The number 1 cause of divorce is money. I actually think the number 1 cause of divorce is marriage, but that's a whole different story.
Oh, look.
If you don't get married, you can't get divorced. But money is the number 1 cause of suicide and divorce. Number 1 stressor in people's families. Marriage? Yeah, absolutely. If they do it right.
you don't have a plan, it's
If
like,
you married Jeff Bezos 20 years ago, you're probably doing pretty good right now, right? Even on the divorce, wife is like, she only wanted like 25% of everything, and still is like a multi-billionaire. Generous. Anyways, to show people how to get out of debt. Emergency fund. Want to teach you how to actually build an emergency fund and keep it liquid. Want to teach you how to have the proper cash flow. How to build proper protection. How to build your wealth. And lastly, estate preservation. If you guys want, this isn't a mandatory thing. In all honesty, which of these areas in your life would you like to improve on? If anyone would like to volunteer.
I'm gonna definitely say, cause I'm registered fund, I'm good, I'm gonna say,
Emergency fund,
I'm gonna say cash flow, definitely.
cash flow, money coming in, money going out.
Let's say turning the emergency fund when we were not calling it. That way it doesn't have to be just an emergency, but I want one of those, just so when I need money, I can go
Yeah.
into it, so.
Anybody else? Build wealth. Awesome. You know, to build wealth, the best way that I'll ever advise is just play the lottery. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Everything you want to save in 401k, you know the lottery. Anyways, the most.
1 in 5 win, right?
What's that?
1 in 5 win, right?
Something like that. You know, if you buy 5
Big
times,
way you
you're
know,
gonna win.
you're gonna be the fifth.
Yeah, that big one they had that was like $1.5 billion. They're like, you have a 1 in like 400 million chance, and I'm like, did you get it? You know, I'm trying to get one. Who knows?
Somebody get one.
Anyways, the most important strategy is to get started now. You know, procrastination is also one of the biggest killers when it comes down to actually taking it. Right? Anybody procrastinate, you're like, I'm gonna put this off till tomorrow, and tomorrow, yeah, Russ knows.
They call us the procrastinating proctors. That's what we do. It runs in our DNA.
Dang it, right? Nothing runs in my DNA, okay? Nothing on my DNA. I started running and I was like, you ever get halfway on a run, you're like, anyways, it's 75 hard challenge. Anyways, 35 minutes. How many guys like to cut your debt and get rid of it? To be honest, be great, right? Debt gone. Some people don't have debt, which is great, and don't get it. So I'm going to show you guys, if you do have debt, some of the management subjects inside of it. First of all, we got to focus on eliminating debt. We're just getting it under control, so that way you can transform your finances. Because if you're spending money every month on debt, wouldn't it be better if that money was in your pocket instead of going out towards debt and like paying these interest and all these things, right? We'd rather have them inside of our pocket. Less debt means you have greater financial strength. You can save, so that money, instead of paying it towards creditors, like I said, you can save it towards retirement, save it towards actually building up money. If debt management is one of your problems, you're not alone. There's a huge amount of people inside this country that actually have debt. Student loan debt is over $1.5 trillion right now. So people, one of my clients, for instance, she got a 4-year degree, a bachelor's in management. She has $90,000 of student loan debt. $90,000. It's a huge amount of debt. And what's her biggest thing? When I ask her about, well, when are you expecting to pay it off? What do you think she says? Never. She's like, I will probably never pay this off. We have more student loan debt than credit card debt in this country.
It's believable, cause it's so easy to get.
Yeah. You, like, the way I'm very, like, obviously, like, my minor, my concentration is in entrepreneurial studies. My professors, none of them own businesses, so I'm like, how are you teaching
Teaching me about
entrepreneurs?
business.
The military paid me to go, so I was like, yeah, might as well. I'm preparing to go to school, like, whatever, right? Don't worry, PFCs, a lot of people, they paid and degrees. But anyways, a lot of people, they have debt, they're struggling. So now it's pop quiz time. Okay, I don't really care, okay? On average, a U.S. household has approximately how much total revolving debt balances or balances carried from one month to the next per household? How much a month? If you think A, raise your hand. If you think it's B, raise your hand. If you think it's C, raise your hand. And if you think it is D, raise your hand. Correct answer is B.
I do it.
So who raised your hand for B? Besides my associates.
See.
Yeah.
I
That sure
raised my
do.
hand. I won.
Alright, from now on, my associates. $7,000 per household. That's just consumer debt, which is what? What's consumer debt? Credit cards, personal loans. This isn't even auto loans, mortgages, anything like that. You guys can actually go search on Google the national debt clock. It has per household, like mortgages, it has a lot of stuff on there. It's pretty terrifying. See how fast we're accumulating debt. Our country has a negative 2% savings rate right now. Negative 2. So what does that mean?
We ain't saving it.
We're getting Target cards, right? Get that 5% off every purchase. Not paying it back. Well, it's because I get offers all the time. I always read them. Like, I'm one of those people, if they send me a credit card statement or like an offer, I always like reading the fine print. You ever seen those things where it's like the furniture stores where they're like no interest for the first 12 months? You ever read the fine print? If you don't pay it off in 12 months, which the minimum is designed not to pay it off, you can pay up to 28% back interest on it.
Yeah.
And you will have like those furniture companies doing repos, like coming knocking on your door. You're like, where's that love seat? You know, like, what? What? No. So $7,000 of consumer debt on average per household. It's a huge problem. So some of the things we're going to talk about, first of all, to pay off debt faster. How many of you guys know someone who likes to pay off debt faster, by any chance? We have family members that be like, yeah, I'd love to get out of debt. What if there's a way for you to get out of debt in half to 2/3 of the time? Would that be pretty cool? So again, we have to teach and educate how families can do that. And that's what we do. Hey, $10 extra rule, we'll go over that. How to master Rule 72, debt roll-up plans, and how to maintain a handle on debt. Have you ever been out of debt and then you accumulated more debt? It's like losing weight. You lose 10 pounds, gain back 30. Yeah, it sucks. Been there, done that, not anymore though. All right, let's talk about adding $10. How many of you guys think with your debt, if you just add $10 extra a month, it would significantly help? Like honestly, you don't really think that, right? I was interviewed for an article about this. They got published in this magazine, online magazine thing, where I was discussing how even $5 extra a month on your debt can make a massive impact. I'm a numbers person. I hate math, but I like numbers. Anybody else like that? Like, show me numbers. I don't want to do that. Thank God for like we have technology now. Like, remember our teacher said you won't have a calculator everywhere you go in your life. All right, Missy Little. Guess who was wrong? That's my third grade teacher. Anyways. So again, giving them small luxuries. $10 a month, like, gonna crucify anyone or like cause them huge problems by any chance? You guys are gonna like lose so much sleep over $10? I hope not. Because man, you go to Starbucks, $10 for a caramel mocha frappa thing. I don't know, you know. Mindy has this drink from Dunkin' that every time she says it, I'm just like, what? Hey, do you have AAA batteries? Yeah, yeah.
Do you want me to put on this stuff for you?
What's that?
Want me to-
No, I mean, it's still reachable for now. I'm just gonna like. Try at least once a month, put a little bit of money towards your credit card debt, whatever debt it is. The small sacrifice now can make a big difference in the long run. While this may not seem like a significant amount, it can reduce it down overall in the long time, because that's what's important, right? It's not about right now, it's about the future. So if debt is something that's bothering you and it is a problem, you have to learn how to get a handle on it. You have to understand first and foremost interest. Okay? Have you guys ever heard of the Rule 72? So this is a very simple financial concept that a lot of places talk about and teach, where it teaches you how to understand how long it will take for your money to double with interest. So this concept demonstrates the approximate amount of time it takes for your money to actually double. Here's how it works. So Mary owes $10,000 on the loan, and the interest rate she's charged is 12% per year, compounded annually. If she doesn't make any payments at this interest rate, it would take 6 years for the amount she owes to double. So the financial concept, you kind of see in the background, 72, take over 72 divided by an interest rate being earned, tells you how many years it takes for your money to double. So 72 divided by 12 equals 6 years. So imagine what people have when their interest rates are like 18% or that 28%, right? So 72 divided by 12 equals 6. Now flip it to the savings game. If you had 1% interest that you're actually making, how long would it take at 1% for your money to double? 72 divided by 1, 72 years. So if your bank, if they're giving you 1%, which if you go check your savings account, how many of you guys think your bank is really giving you 1%? No. They are giving you 0.1, 0.01, like my USAA account was 0.01%. That's 7,200 years before my money doubles. Right? Like, I will unfortunately will not be around in 7,200 years. I don't think the planet will be around in the next 100 years. We're going with things, right? So that's a huge problem for them. Amani, I'm gonna wink every time. Hey, just unplug the thing real quick and plug it back in.
Nope.
What did you say?
Oh, I changed it.
Oh, okay. You just make him believe.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah,
I make
crazy.
I make it feel good, you know.
Exactly.
You keep using it. Don't worry, I got you, man.
Every time you.
Just point. I'll do it. You're good.
I'll just like hit you in the leg. Maybe it's just a bad battery.
I think I got it. Oh, there we go. He got it. She got it.
Yeah, I know. She just wanted. So if you have 5%, let's test time. If you have 5%, how many years from now will it take for your money to double at 5%? Is it going to be 14.4 years? 7.2 months? 10.2 years? Or is it going to double in 5.7 years? How many of you guys think it's A?
Or it's actually one.
Oh, one. Sorry. Tricked ya.
If you think it's A, you're wrong.
Yeah, clearly. Put your hand down, Russ. You got it. You got it. Jeez, man. Number 2. Who thinks it's number 2? So who was number 1? I don't want to say it. Number 1. Okay, so y'all 3. 2, 3, 4. I mean, you're not gonna raise your hand no matter what.
I definitely won.
All right, so number 1. What's number 1? Welcome to the drawings now. It's number 1 because
But my calculator told me.
72 divided by 5 equals 14.4 years. So I want you guys just remember the number 72. Every time you look at an interest rate in your head, 72 divided by that will tell you how fast it's going to be. So again, if you have a credit card at 28%, that's going to be compounding quick, right? So that's why when credit card companies are like, hey, your minimum payment is $35 this month. Guess what people are doing? They're paying $35. But when the interest on and it hits for the month, the interest was usually like $40, $45. You understand the minimums are designed for credit companies to actually like still get a lot of money. So you got to show people how to get out of debt faster. So how many of you guys would want to pay down your debt more quickly? How many of you guys just got debt? Right, no, it doesn't matter. Just kidding. Getting started is very easy, and again, it's simple, but you have to do it. You have to take action for it. First of all, you have to stop using your credit cards. This does not work if you keep getting more and more debt. All right. So Target says, "Hey, what's up?" You got a Target card, don't you? Sitting here.
Actually, it's expired.
That's
But
good.
that shows I have not used it in a long, long time.
Great job.
No
Let's high
balance
five,
on it.
man.
No balance on
Good
it.
job. That's like now. Like remember those Sears cards? That was me, man. Like when I was doing HVAC, I would just be buying tools left and right. Yeah, trying to talk about my stories. You have to list all your debts in order. Again, there's different ways you can do it. You can list by the larger amounts you owe or the higher interest rates. Yeah, when you actually sit with a financial professional, they're going to be able to say, this is the one you got to focus on. Again, I think it's kind of a blend too. Some interest rates you want to get those gone. some larger amounts, you may want to get them up faster. So continue with someone like myself, I'll actually be able to show you that. Pay more than the minimum payment each month on debt one. So this is a snowball plan. Have you guys ever heard of a debt snowball? This is phenomenal. If you guys want debt gone, I'm going to show you some numbers. But you're paying more money on debt one, or paying more than minimum, while you're paying the minimum on the other one. So add extra money to debt number one, pay the minimums on the other stuff. As you pay debt one off, you take the amount you're paying on debt one, apply it now all to debt two, all the way until it's gone. Apply all of that to debt three. So it's just your payments are getting larger and larger. I'm going to show you numbers on that. Again, you're free until all your debts have been paid off. So let's say someone has 3 simple lines of credit or some sort of debt, right? You got a Chase credit card, they owe $1,500, they owe PayPal $1,200, and they got a car payment about $35 grand. This sounds familiar to anyone? You're like, man, Justin, how'd you get my financials? Like, this is great. Simple interest rates, car about 4.5, PayPal is about 10%. Interest rates on Chase credit card is a very conservative 12%. You're paying the minimums on all of them, right? So what that means is you're going to take these payments and start snowballing. As you pay off that credit card, apply it over to the next credit card. When you pay this credit card off completely, you're applying it now all to your car payment. So instead of paying $450, you're paying the $520 because you're already used to paying these, right? If you've already been paying $35 on it, are you guys really going to miss it? No. But if you actually don't do that, going back to this, if you don't do that, it's going to take you 93 months to pay off everything. You're paying a total of $520 a month. You're not snowballing it. You're just like, hey, I'm just going to, once I'm paying my credit card, that extra $35 a month goes in my pocket. The other credit cards I've actually paid off in my pocket. It'll take you 93 months. It's a long time. But if you snowball it without adding any extra money, you'll pay it off 7 months faster and save yourself $250 of interest. Does that sound like a lot of money? Not really, right? But when you take into consideration the monthly amount you're paying for 7 months back in your pocket, that's actually about $3,800 you're saving if you just snowball. How many people would like $3,800 back in their pocket? What can you guys do with $3,800? Target. Vacation, right? How many of you guys have kids? Okay, like it would be great to be able to like go on vacation with your sweetheart, take your kids out, maybe go to Outback Steakhouse, not worry about getting a $700 bill for all your kids, right? Now that I have one child, like there's 5 of us, 4 boys, and a stepsister that lives with us. Like my parents, whenever we go out to Outback, there's 7 mouths eating, and I'm like, what the hell do you do? Right? So now let's talk about adding an extra $10 per day. So you're gonna add $30 a month extra. That's not a huge amount, right? Again, how many of you guys honestly would think $30 a month extra is doable? Okay? So the same debts, same exact plan, same thing. 93 months if you didn't do it correctly. But by adding just $30 extra a month, it would actually knock off over a year of payments, save you $870 of interest. Just $30 extra a month. When you calculate the payments and how much in 13 months, you're saving yourself $8,000. Isn't that pretty incredible that just $30 extra a month and snowballing it gets you out of debt in 13 months in this example and saves you $8 grand? Now imagine people who are like, now they start applying that to the house and their mortgage payments. They start knocking their house payments out. What if they were able to knock 10 years off a 30-year mortgage? Start thinking bigger, right? Like, how can that help you? So that's what we have to be focused on, is how to get that. So that simple $30 a month, the difference between the two, you actually save between the two, the 8,000, the other one was 3,000, save about $4,100. All that was going to those creditors, the banks, the financing firms, and everything. That's what we have to be focused on. How do you get a handle on debt? Sometimes people are just, they're too big of problems when it comes down to it, so they're like, well, how do I get out of debt more? How can I actually do it? Number one, pay more than minimum. Using that debt roll-up plan. If that doesn't work, you can consider debt consolidation. There's a couple different ways to do that. It's a form of debt refinancing in which you can take out one loan to pay out all the other loans. So if some people are like, you know, I'm in severe trouble, you may be able to get a debt consolidation loan where they give you like 10 grand, you pay one creditor, you pay off all the other credit cards. What shouldn't you do when you get that debt consolidation loan?
More than.
Yeah, spend it, right? Like, oh, I just got 10 grand. You know, I just saw this new fancy thing that came out. Then you're like, well, dang it, right? But that's what some people will do. How many people do you think still have their, what is it called, their refund checks? They got them and they blew them every time. So they're like, you ever see the Facebook videos where people are like, you know, pulling out hundreds of dollars and like, you guys need to learn what I'm doing. It's like, what you're doing is getting a refund using your kids, pulling that out, you know, like, well, we're not stupid. You know, we'll figure out the year they're gone, but yes, you got mine. You gotta learn how to manage debt in the end, making it easier to eliminate it. You want to, that's the whole point of debt elimination, is to get rid of it, right? So 2 ways you can do that. Again, there are some nonprofit companies out there that will help you do that. I had to do this when I was 20 years old. After I got into the military, they started sending like credit cards with like the Air Force Thunderbirds on it. I'm like, hell yeah, man! Like, you know, using it for dates, which I considered an emergency back then. You know, I'm like, hey, I don't have any money left, but I got this credit card, I got a hot date. Then they kept sending me bills like, hey, you spent $700-800 bucks. Now we need, like, you owe us money. I'm like, oh, that's how that works. All right. So I use the nonprofit consolidated debt that way. They deal with all talking to creditors, arranging payments. It does massively impact your credit, obviously. So again, that's emergency stuff, right? And debt consolidation loans, like you already talked about. If you have a decent credit score, you have something that you can actually leverage. Okay. Now, you guys ready for something else? As long as it's not something other. All right, get your tickets out. Get out of here. It's gonna be a simple pen. 4966055. There you go. I'll take this. All right. Test time. What is my favorite color? Purple. Just kidding. You guys know Monty Python? Anybody? Well, I really should on my age. What is the speed of a carbon storm?
Okay, you all are on your own.
Y'all never seen the movie, dude? Search on Netflix. It's dry fever though.
Bring out your head.
Yeah, see?
Bring out your head.
You got it now.
What is the number that we talked about to understand interest rates?
72.
I heard I first. Your next ticket, $100 and a candy bar. How hard it is not to eat any of this candy, by the way. It sucks. John, don't be sneaking cookies back there.
That's what he's doing this whole time.
All right, let's talk about emergency funds or contingency funds. Sounds better. Emergency sounds negative. So when it comes down to an emergency fund, have you guys ever had your tires blow out, like car breakdown, emergency medical bill, hot date?
Yes.
Not recently?
Not recent.
Anyways. In a recent survey, only 23% of respondents indicated that they do not have an emergency fund. That means 25% almost of people who were surveyed don't even have money saved for emergency. So if something does go wrong, what are they using? Credit cards. Is that a great idea? I can tell you personally, it's absolutely not a great idea, right? An emergency fund can be a financial superpower you need to protect your lifestyle. Because again, if you did have money saved and something went wrong, you can use that money to do what? Pay for the damn problem, right? You guys understand, again, if you have a significant other or kids, like imagine you took kids, even if you don't have kids in the future, like if you took them to the hospital for an emergency surgery, they're like, hey, it's $25,000 that you're gonna owe. How many of you right now can honestly cut that check and be like, I'm solid? I can't. You can't. It's no problem. How many of you would like to be able to do that? Man, not even flinch, right? Have you ever been in the supermarket and like checking your app real quick before you check out? Like, you know, something like that, right? You don't want to do that when it comes to actually needing money for an emergency. So we got to make sure we start building that up. So some tips for it, we're gonna go over. How do you save? Some people are like, well, how do I save? Where do I save for? Like, we don't even know, right? How to customize your emergency fund. How many of you guys think everyone's emergency fund should be tailor fit? For like, it should be like their own personal one instead of like just a one size fits all. Because I've heard these financial experts be like, just save 30 grand for emergency. Like, why? Right? Like, I don't know how much I'm supposed to save. Emergency funds need to be, they need proper care and feeding, like a baby. You have kids, you have to take care of your child, right? You know, just shove them in the room, like throw a tray of food in, that's not what you're doing, right? Your emergency fund's now your baby. All of you guys are parents, congratulations. Test time. How many months is the minimum recommendation to save for an emergency? Minimum. Is it A, would you say 3 months? So we got 1 3 month. We recommend say B 6, C 9, D 12. It's not like a bingo. We're like, you know,
Bingo.
we're all very good. The correct answer is A. Minimum is 3. So you're the only one, correct?
Oh, God. What did I say?
Oh, no. You're either getting a payday or 100 grand. One of these has legit $100,000 in it. So. B, or excuse me, 8. See, that's why it also messes me up. It's supposed to be 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't even know. The first one is the correct answer. The minimum required that they recommend is at least 3 months saved. So when you're facing an unexpected financial challenge, don't let your backup be credit cards and payday loans. Payday loans, title loans, for the love of God, avoid those. Those things are the biggest scams ever. I don't even know how they're legal still. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. So start building your cash reserve. When is the best time to start saving for emergency? Is it next month? Right now, right? Like tonight. Even if you go home and you're like $5 in a jar. Again, action beats the procrastination side. Okay. Here's a simple way to start saving for emergency fund if you have like, or add what you have. Use a different amount to save each week, depending on your cash flow. Again, so if you have a good week coming in, save a little bit more. If you don't, save a little less. And you guys, inside your packets, you'll see this printed out part that I have. Every week, you need to pick a number. So if you have a lower cash flow week, throw $8 in a jar or in a savings account. I typically say put it in an area you can't easily transfer. Even if you have to open up a specific bank somewhere else, like I got a bank at USAA. I went and opened up one in SunTrust, and they're like, "You want a card?" I'm like, "No," because I want it to be. I have to go to the bank, physically pull money out. Because what I would do is, if I had it in a savings account, I would just be like, transfer funds, problem solved, right? And it's not for a little emergency. Because if something's that bad, trust me, you'll be able to get your money. So use this. I highly encourage, next time I talk to you guys come out to the event next year, I want to see who's done it. At least stick to it. If you guys are married, you guys have to have that joint conversation and be focused on it. Because in the first couple of weeks, you'll be like, yeah, it's great. And something will pop up. There's even a 0 on here, guys. Like, if you're like, hey, I used the 0 this week, whatever, you did something. But the faster you get these bigger ones out and you stick with them, at the end of the 52 weeks, a lot better. But if you do this the entire time, you'll have at least $1,000 saved. Just by something small. So how many of you guys will honestly commit to you and your family to at least do that? Even if it's just adding to what you have. Small numbers. That handout's free, you guys don't need to pay for that. If you want to. When facing unexpected financial challenge, again, be sure to keep this money in a savings account or anywhere else you can access it easily. Even if it is a jar at your house. Need liquidity. Alright, so put it somewhere you can actually access it. Once you reach $1,000, keep going. Don't stop. Again, designing it that's right for you. Financial experts believe in at least 3 to 6 months. So if you did vote for 6, it wasn't a minimum. That was like, they're still. Too bad. Sorry. My rules. It's your house, grandma. Technically, All right, here's the question to help you determine the target amount of your, how much you actually need for emergency fund. So ask these questions, write them down, how much you actually, what you need to cover. Again, you gotta cover your mortgage payments. You guys kind of want to live where you live at, right? If something happens, you both lose your job, or when you lose your job, you want to live where you're at. You don't want the sheriff's knocking your door to evict you. Your utilities, keep your lights on. So you gotta still pay your bills, you gotta eat. Even if it's ramen noodles, right? Like 17 cents a pack, you'll figure out how to do it. You need money for that. How to pay your insurance, health, auto, home, life. The first thing that gets cut in this situation is simply life insurance. Don't, for the love of God, do that. Because if something happens during that emergency, and something happens to your family, it's going to be an even bigger emergency coming up. Personal care expenses. You gotta take a shower, you shampoo. Love God, like you don't want to go to your office and be like, oh, have an emergency? Whew, any medical expenses, again, if you were out of your job because of the injury, you gotta make sure that you have those bills paid. Transportation, that's gas. You ever been so broke you have to like pull out change and try to pay for your gas? It sucks. Yes, I've been that broke. Here's some tips to help you again in order to do that. You gotta grow it. Decide how much you need to save. So you have to calculate 3 to 6 months typically of expenses, put that number down, start saving towards it. Don't add too much. So as soon as you hit that goal, don't add more. There's some people I have that have 50 to 100 grand in a savings account, and if it's gaining less than 1%, is that money really working for them? No, just get the minimum you need for an emergency and save the rest for long term. And again, if you do borrow against it, start trying to figure out ways to pay back into it. You want to keep that up and replenish it. Cash flow. How many of you guys honestly know how much money's coming in, how much money's going out? Like you have a budget every month. Very rare people do this. Because they'll just look at their bank account and be like, oh, I have extra money, my bills are paid. Target. Just use Target as an example. All of us are guilty of that. But knowing what you have is a very good understanding of your financial strength. It really shows how strong you are. If you have negative cash flow, it means what? You're spending more than you're earning. How many of you guys love doing that? You ever been like, there's more month than there is paycheck? And you're like, when do we get paid? Oh, a week from now. Okay, great. We'll figure this out. Yeah, 17 cents. Maybe it's cheaper. I don't even know. I'm about $100. Positive cash flow means you're spending less, which again is very good to do, obviously. Remember that when cash flow is strong and positive, you can use your money to your advantage. When you're living in a negative state, your mindset also turns negative too. You guys ever like ran out of money or like didn't get paid fast enough? Like I had a government shutdown happen and we didn't get paid. So that was like, oh my God, you know, so you didn't want to do that. That was like 2013. Tips for your cash flow, rock your financial budget. You guys have a budget in your thing, an example budget. There's so many out there. I use one through Google Sheets just because it does all the math for me, which makes my life easier. Also, how to make more money. I'd be run this if I didn't talk about how to make more money. How do you do that on the side? You guys ever heard of the gig economy? I'll show you that. It's pretty cool. So, do heroes have budgets? I guess. Superman, I don't see Superman in the movies doing the budget thing. Maybe in Endgame they talk about their budget on their expenses. I don't know, I haven't seen it yet. But yeah, you better believe that people who understand money have a budget. They know what they're doing, where their finances are going. So if you're having money challenges, it's time for you to look at a budget because you have to keep track of where things are going. If you are spending more money, you have to identify where you're spending it at. Again, voluntarily, completely. Where's one guilty pleasure you spend money at all the time? Restaurants, right? God, food. That's my weakness. Yeah, I had to stop because I go to McRae's and like eat their Matador burger that has melted pimento cheese on it.
Stop.
Which is keto, by the way. So we can do that. Oh. A budget helps you understand your financial. Again, how many of you guys? I don't know where you guys work. You guys work your hands and do like mechanical stuff, right? If you have a problem and you just stared at the engine, if you're wherever you're at, is it gonna fix itself? Just be like, well, damn. No, that ain't gonna happen. You gotta know what you're doing, right? So when I was at HVAC, if we had a problem with the system, we identify the problem by doing troubleshooting. Same thing with your money. If you have a problem with that, you don't even know you have a problem sometimes, right? So you have to understand your financial situation. Cut back on expenses. Kick unhealthy financial habits. What is an unhealthy financial habit? Spending money at restaurants. Amazon, one-click buy. Oops.
2-day shipping.
Too late.
Yeah, so I'm not going back to cancel it, right? You gotta control your spending. I'm gonna tell you as a financial professional, for going on 5 years now, we will not be able to break habits people are dealing with their spending. That takes a lot of financial discipline. So you'll have some extras be like, hey, you get Starbucks every day, stop doing that. How likely are you think that client's gonna stop doing that? Not gonna happen. We just have to find ways to cut back, do some better things. But control it. Yeah, build financial fitness. It's very important. It takes muscle memory. Again, you're not just gonna like lose weight just by going to the gym once. You ever done that? Go to the gym, work out for like 20 minutes, be like, God, I'm so fat. This doesn't work. I'm not doing this anymore. No, it doesn't happen that way. So what is the gig economy? I wish it worked that way. It'd be great. You just go in there. Right. All right. What's the gig economy? Anybody have a side gig? What's side gig?
Cutting grass.
Cutting grass, man. Weeding, making it happen. Gotta make some extra money. Got something. Stripping.
Stripping.
Robbie, where at, bro? I
He doesn't actually strip, they pay him to keep it on.
yeah, sir, I will give you $20. Not to do this. I know I do, man. They turn it away. So a gig economy is just that, finding ways to make additional money without impacting what you're currently doing. That can deal with anything like ride sharing. I know some people are like, yeah, I do Uber on the side, do it at night, just make some extra money. Some people have online businesses, dog walking, babysitting, lots of different stuff, right? Nearly 20% of all U.S. adults have participated in this economy. A lot of people are realizing their job, they have a couple of things. They're underpaid, overworked. Anybody ever like feel like that? Like they work you so much, you're like, why am I doing their job? Can I get their money since I have to do it? Right? Samantha's in here working all the time and they're always relaxing. So again, if you want to know more how the gig economy works, you have to kind of research it and understand more. You have to really find things that you're passionate about. Here's a couple examples. First and foremost, what I do, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about it. I started doing this part-time while I was a firefighter in Gwinnett County. I was going to paramedic school. I was very busy, but I was broke, making $1,600 a month. So I didn't know, I had to I teach Krav Maga, I used to teach it, because I got a certified instructor. I teach women to rape victims, making some extra money, but I wasn't charging poor women like tons of money. They're like $20 a month, and I was like, yeah. And I was getting my butt kicked, like they would fight me and stuff. But anyways, but then Sean, he actually found my business card one day, gave me a call. I was like, hey, look, look for some people. I know what I was doing. Obviously, so I started doing this more because I like teaching people. I love helping people make a difference. So yeah, I started this part-time without impacting anything I'm doing. You can also turn your passion into a profit. So, these some people have like Etsy stores and stuff like that. They're really good at, like one of my old high school friends, she's really, really good at knitting these like stuffed bears. They're really cool. And she just sells them. And that's her side gig, what she does. And she makes $20 a pop on it. So find your passion. You can leverage your profession. So even like you guys deal with mechanical stuff, find a way that you can leverage that into a side gig and a side business as well. I know Samantha, you do a lot of the event planning and have people that will hire you to do stuff on the side like we talked about. She was trying to hustle me earlier, like, no, I know. Thank you.
Hey,
Hey, I appreciate that. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not planning anything, so I just show up. Engage in the gig economy by walking dogs, babysitting, or driving for ride sharing. Again, just do something. If you have free time and you want to try and make some extra money, you just have to find out how to leverage your time. Don't drive yourself crazy.
He put them in a spare room real quick.
What?
I noticed you.
Oh, there's another one?
There was one more that's not right out spare room. You're like,
He was like, pass the room
Hey,
quick.
man, I don't know, works for me. I didn't even see it, man. I was just so excited. Again, let me ask you guys, this is all interactive. Why would someone want to have a side gig?
Because I got tired of my neighbor's grass
How's
being
the
too
cash
tall.
flow?
What was that?
I got tired of my neighbor's grass being too tall.
Do it for you.
So they pay you to do it?
Yes, so they pay me to do it.
Alright. Got tired of the problems around you. What else? Cash flow?
Cash flow consistent.
Yeah. Extra money. So if you were making an extra $500 a month, how many of you guys wouldn't mind that? I don't know. If you would mind that, then give me the $500. You go do the work, I'll take $500. I don't know. Right? Again, like you said, to have an additional stream of income. Wealthy people, because I have very, very successful mentors, you need to have at least 5 to 7 streams of income coming in. Especially in today's day, you need to find ways to build additional streams. Some people just want to be their own boss. Some people honestly don't like their boss. They don't like being bossed around. Like, I love the military because it's leadership, but I can't have a job. Like, if Sean was my boss, him and I would butt heads too much. But since we already kind of butt heads because we're both born in the same hospital in California, which is weird, but he's my mentor. I'm willing to listen to him 70% of the time. And then when I realize the other 30% he was right, then I'm like, hey, Sean, you're right? Anyways, the gig economy is for you. You got to get online, find something that you can do. Find ways that you can actually make additional money, build that up. Again, our industry is struggling. I'll be honest with you guys. We have tons of financial firms that are all over the place. Like you're building a bank for some reason across the street. Oh, why? Could have been used for parking, but that's fine. The financial services industry is an industry that does need a lot of help. Biggest reason why is because there's so many baby boomers that are hitting retirement age and so many financial professionals that are leaving. There are a bunch of, like, the financial industry is older people, they're retiring. There's going to be an estimated shortfall of 200,000 advisors by 2022. So that's 3 years from now, right? So we have to do this to help and serve middle income families because they deserve the same type of education that the wealthy get. That's why we do this. I'm pretty sure we could be partying and doing other stuff, but when it comes to our financial stuff, we'd rather teach and educate people. Again, it's wide open. There's not many financial services and education companies out there, so there's a huge amount of places that can actually use people, even if it is part-time. Again, I only like working with people who are very ambitious. I don't know what it is, but sometimes origins are very like, I'm like, dude, let's go, man. Like, what do you think for everyone? Again, you gotta have great people skills. If you're not a very good people person, the financial services industry is kind of hard. Very hard. I'm obviously good at people in my environment. You have to have a desire to learn. I'm always consistently learning. You cannot learn enough about money. Would you guys agree that like things change all the time in the financial industry that we probably don't understand? So you have to be willing to learn and put forth the ability for that. You gotta be coachable. I'm pretty coachable. Not perfect. Pretty good. Right, Sean? Pay you $20 later. How many of you guys play sports? What do you guys play? Okay. What do you play?
Wow.
I was in ROTC and I cheated.
You cheated?
I cheered.
Oh, cheated. I'm like, damn! Isn't one of these values of ROTC integrity? Jeez. You gotta be coachable and all that stuff. In martial arts, sports, it doesn't matter. ROTC, military, you have to be coachable. When someone's like, tell me what you should do, you should probably do it, especially martial arts. You don't do this, you keep in the face. Right? So do it. You have to have willingness to follow proven strategies. Again, the financial industry has been around for a very long time. There's proven strategies in place, come follow system, we're good to go. And you have to have an entrepreneurial mindset. Again, I'm very entrepreneur based. I've been selling everything since I was a kid except drugs. Did you do that? We haven't gotten that bad yet, right? Also, veterans, as a veteran, if you guys do know anyone, our industry is pretty phenomenal for vets, just because they have that leadership mentality already. Without the veterans in the United States become business owners. There's a lot of them in our company that are very successful, and other people in the financial industry are veterans. Great leadership skills, problem solving, teamwork. I like teamwork. Great discipline. All right, let's start wrapping up. Proper protection. This is the fun stuff. How many of you guys love learning about life insurance? Oh my God. I love it. Anyways, having all this stuff is great, but if you're not properly protected, your family's not properly protected, you're in trouble, right? You guys feel like there's a lot of different insurance companies out there. You're like, which one's the best one? They say this one, this company says that, they say this sucks, they say this is great. Like, well, what's right? What's the correct one for you? insurance makes it easier for you and your family. If something documented has happened. This is huge for me. I talk about life insurance a lot because my dad, he died when I was 16 years old. He was a sole breadwinner in our household. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. My sister was 19 at the time, stationed in New Mexico, or no, Nevada. My brother now is in New Mexico. But my mom was raising 4 boys by herself. Like, all of us are 60 plus. So we were in our, like, from 6 to 16, we drank 12 gallons of milk every week. Just to, like, imagine how expensive that is, right? My mom was going broke on freaking milk. So my dad died, the income stopped pretty much immediately. He only had that, like, $50,000 also doing his job. My mom and dad had saved about 50 to 70 grand. They were pretty good savers. But at the end of the day, how long do you think 100 grand lasts a family of 5 with no income, bills, living in California, by the way, so you can just imagine how expensive.
Not long at all.
Not long. So my mom picked up multiple jobs just to try and make ends meet. She did a great job. We lived on state assistance, church assistance, everything. Like, we went from middle class broke to broke class broke pretty damn quick. So life insurance is a big passion of mine just because I've lived through it. My mom attempted suicide once because she was, or she contemplated it just because she was
Overwhelmed.
yeah, exactly, overwhelmed, stressed out. It was pretty tough.
That's a lot.
Yeah, so my mom's someone who I absolutely look up to. You call me mom as loyal you want. I don't care. You say anything bad about my mom, I'm gonna knock you the hell out. Mom's a hero. Like, she's doing a lot of work for us to be successful. That's two of them. Anyway. You guys say something? Helpful tips. Protect the ones you love. Everyone say,
Yes.
You gotta get it right. I'm telling you, this is one of the most important steps of financial plan is getting it right. Trending now, life insurance. So you guys want to be on the trend? Life insurance, cool. Which is right? Permanent insurance. You gotta find your kid. Okay. Permanent. Look at that. That's me. They did me on that.
Love your hair.
Thank you.
That's that permanent insurance, right?
That's that.
Permanent, right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You have too little, your family may not be able to have a reasonable amount. Again, there is a proper calculation for people, and it's per family. It's not one size fits all. Unfortunately, there are too many insurance places that say everyone should just have $250,000, or the people who do a lot of the talk shows say you should have just 10 times your income. Lots of good blanket statement. Everyone should have their proper amount.
Yeah.
You can even have too much life insurance. Some people are like, well, you can't have too much life insurance. No, you can. If it's not set up correctly, you can be wasting money that can be used somewhere else. Life insurance is an important component of your financial strategy. Imagine you're living your whole life, you're saving, you're doing what's right, and something, God forbid, happens to you. Then what's going to happen to your financial strategy that goes up if you didn't have the right amount of life insurance? It goes away. So here's the calculation. I want you guys to write this down, memorize it, take a picture, Snappy Chatty it, Instagram Live. I don't really care what you do. Here's how you calculate the right amount of life insurance for you and your family. You got to calculate how much debt you have. What kind of debts does that accumulate into? Mortgage, car payment, the loan shark, your income. The number one thing that is not discussed when you call up a life insurance company is you're not going to discuss replacing your family's income. This is what my family needed the most. And I'll show you why they don't want to talk about it, because what's easier to sell, $250,000 or $1 million? Like, if I were to say, hey, you know what, Robbie, $250,000 is what you need. Sounds reasonable. Versus, hey, look, I calculated all this, need $1 million. If I didn't show you this, you're like, oh, you're just trying to like get more money, right? So income, the best way to calculate that is if you have kids, calculate your youngest child. I do until they hit 20 years old. So if I have a 6-year-old, 14 years of income, I want to replace so her lifestyle is not affected. Does that make sense? So if my child is very dependent on my income, if I didn't have that, then she's in trouble. I'm gonna show you some numbers. If you're married, typically 5 to 10 years without kids, 5 to 10 years of income just to get them off their ass. The M stands for mortality, and this is by the way called the Diamond method. Mortality. You'll hear other places say that, put your mortgage there. I just put it in debt. Mortality is how much it costs to bury you. You guys know the average cost of a funeral? $8,000 to $12,000. Right? A lot of money. How many people do you like see on GoFundMe.com always like help us bury our loved one?
It happens.
All the time. E could be for education. So if you have kids, you want to leave an education fund behind. Or if you're married, an emergency fund. Leave enough money behind for to build an emergency fund. Take away current insurance in place, and that will tell you what your shortfall is. So some people are like, well, I have 100 grand through work. That's great. But what happens if you're not at that job anymore? So let's go over an example. I have a client, 35 years old, male. He's married, has 2 children, ages 7 and 10 years old. Wife works a job and takes care of the kids while the client is the dominant income earner. He makes 50 grand a year with his job. Family has a $150,000 mortgage, 2 car loans, a $50,000 total, $10,000 consumer debt. They have household bills, $3,000 a month. How much life insurance do they need?
Oh, they need that perm.
They need that time.
They need it. But it's like they're looking to go what they make.
Here's a good example. So you take over debt. Take their income. Their youngest is 7, so 13 years until they hit 20 years old. This is, again, the biggest one that is not calculated with insurance professionals. But it's the biggest one your family will need. The mortality is about, I usually put about 15 grand for it. That can help with burial plus maybe any extra costs that do come up, like you have to fly family members in or whatever. Just kind of give a little buffer. Education. Let's say 50 grand per kid. Like I said, my client has 90 grand of debt with just one degree. So 50 grand each. And let's say he's like, hey, 3 grand a month for my bills. I want to at least have 6 months saved for an emergency fund for my spouse. Right? So the numbers add up. They need total almost $1 million of life insurance. Now the next question is like, well, what type? Should I have term? Should I have permanent? What's this? What's that? You got to find out which one's the best fit for you. Again, it's a huge shortfall, isn't it? Imagine he didn't have life insurance, or he had a little bit of something through work. But isn't that the biggest objection that you may have? Is like, well, I have life insurance through work. Is it $993,000 at your job that they're giving you? No, they give you 50 to 100 grand. I've seen some if you pay more every month, you can get more. One of the biggest misconceptions that life insurance and job will be enough. How many of you plan to die at your job? Raise your hand. Wow, nobody.
I'm not gonna be able to retire, so I will probably die at my job.
That sucks. We gotta change that, right? I'm gonna die at my career because it's what I love doing. Probably not. What happens if you lose your job? Do you guys know if you lose your job, you lose your coverage? What happens if you lose your job because of sickness, illness, some sort of disease? I've had that happen with a client. He's like, no, I've got life insurance for my job. He had a pretty good amount, about $500,000. He said, I got $500,000 in his job. But he was in a car accident. He shattered 2 vertebrae in his neck. He was lucky he wasn't paralyzed. They had to bring in cadaver vertebrae and put him in and stuff. He's out of his job for almost a year. Do you think any insurance company would touch him after he lost his job? Nope. Sure wouldn't.
Oh, that $50,000 is going
It's
down.
gone. Yeah, once you lose the company, it's gone.
Wow.
So let's do reverse engineering. This is one of my favorite things to prove to people that the amount of life insurance they have is not adequate. I love this part. Okay, cool. I don't know why I put that up there first. Let you know. I was in my trouble. Actually, probably walking almost done. Gonna put that back.
Wow.
Let's do this. Let's just delete that. As you guys can see, the end of it, most people are uninsured. 75% cut. How many of you guys can afford a 75% cut to your finances right now? How many of you guys want a 75% cut to your finances? Because if you did, you can just send money to me. All right. So let's say the same client, same concept. He's like, hey, Justin, I've got $250,000 in life insurance for my job. I don't need anything, right? That's something that you will get, especially in the profession. You may run into that. So let's take that 250. Let's say this subtract 15 grand. You got to pay for the funeral, right? Somebody has to. Then they pay off their debt, their car loans, and their consumer debt. They have about $170,000 left of that life insurance. They can't even pay off the house. Because if they did, they would run out of money, 150 grand. Divide that by 13 years. Again, they're youngest until they hit 20 years old. That family's only going to have $13,000 a year, which equates to $1,000 a month. So that client was bringing in 41 grand a month. Now your family, if they make it stretch and don't blow it on anything, they'll have $1,000 a month. That's a huge cut, about $3,000 that was brought up, that your family's income is doing. Again, that's about 75% that is going to be huge problems. So how many of you guys think this client would probably need more life insurance?
Definitely.
It's very simple. So when people actually see the numbers, they're like, well, damn, I don't have enough. But again, we live in this bubble of safety that we've been taught through commercials or like you need this. We have to properly educate those clients, make sure they have the right amount. Again, it doesn't matter if you're young, you're not married, no kids. Some people are like, I don't need life insurance, I have no kids. We have a spouse. Well, I'm not married, I don't have kids, it doesn't matter. You should have something in place to make sure your family's taken care of. Life insurance can help you to actually provide financial support, create a strong financial foundation for your future, protect the family that you may have in the future. You guys, again, you do want kids in the future, you need something now because you don't know what to pop up. Like medical things. Proper protection. There's different types of life insurance benefits. It can help you in a bunch of different ways besides just paying out when you die. Isn't that what you usually think when you think life insurance? Like, I'm only going to get this when I'm dead, so what's the point of it, right? So some life insurance policies can create living benefits. You can leverage your life insurance in case something happens, like a stroke, heart attack, cancer, some sort of disability, accident. There's policies out there that have them as riders, or there's other policies that are just strictly designed as a living benefit policy. You use it for something in retirement, cover education expense for your kid, obviously pay final expenses. My job is to get rid of GoFundMe. Like, I can't stand that crap whenever it's shared. So they're like, oh, help me. Look at it, it's like got $20. And, you know, like, wish we could do something more, right? Create an inheritance. How many of you guys have a rich uncle that left you a bunch of money?
Help me find them.
You ever see those like those movies, like the Disney movies, where it's like, oh, by the way, you're a princess, and you didn't even know it. I wish that I had another princess. Just I don't care, right? What type of insurance is right for you? Again, term insurance out there. Term insurance is just that. It's for a specific period of time. The term insurance definitely has its place. It's very affordable. You get a good amount of life insurance for very low cost. There's others out there like permanent. Permanent life insurance is that. It stays in effect for as long as you pay it. There's multiple types of permanent, multiple types of term. There's lots of different companies out there. Some companies preach one's better than the other. Some preach both are great. You just have to understand and be properly educated on both of them. Make a proper decision. So we want to make sure we educate people on the right types that are out there. All right, who's ready to get another ticket? What does a D stand for? No, I'm going to take the ticket. It stands for death, stand for diminishing income, stand for disability, or stand for debt. So is it /D?
Is it D?
It's a D.
If the biggest number 1, raise your hand. Biggest number 2, raise your hand. Number 3. Number 4. Thanks, Alexis.
No, it's
So,
okay.
everyone do it. Yeah, if any of my guys are legit with the mission, I would slap it. I can pay you $100 grand. All right, stands for debt. What total debt is taken in consideration? What total debt should be considered? Does the debt you owe the loan shark count? Yeah. What about payday loans? Especially that one, right? One with like 95% interest. You gotta pay by tomorrow. Number 5, we're gonna blow through the rest of it and have the conversation back. Build wealth. By building wealth, you gain power to work towards your long and short-term financial goals. How many of you guys want to work forever? How many of you guys feel like you have to work forever? You guys see a lot of older people working out at Walmart? Yes. How many of you guys think that's a problem?
Yeah.
I think it's a problem if they want, if they don't want to, they have to. Because again, there's so many problems with the financial industry. You guys see the stories that came out that they're saying the trust funds for Social Security will be depleted by 2035? Most people are freaking out. It used to be 2034. So we're going up. Watch out. First time I met Sean, he showed me a Social Security statement from like 2002. And it's been saying it since 18 years, 17 years. They've been warning people. You don't have to wait until you complete a steps 1 through 40 and started. Again, put a little cash towards your retirement. Focus on saving money towards it. It takes discipline. By doing so, you give this money an opportunity to work for you. How many of you guys honestly work hard for your money? Like you can say, I put in a lot of work to get my money. Wouldn't you want money to work for you now? You have to make it work for you and actually build up and accumulate for you. So some helpful tips. You got to understand how wealth works. You sound like a mouse. An options for your money, the taxes. All right, write this formula down. Money plus time plus or minus the rate of return minus inflation minus taxes equals wealth. So if people are like, I got 200 grand sitting in my 401k, I'm balling. Do you really think they're balling? No. Because what did they not take out of that equation? Taxes. What if you're getting 1% on your bank account? You guys know what inflation is? It's the continuous rise of everything that you spend money on. So that gallon of milk in the 1970s is not worth the same. Like it's more expensive, right? I think a gallon of milk is like $3. I don't think it was. Eggs, even stamps for God's sake. They hit my inflation. It used to be a dime, now it's like $75. Well, formula is easy to understand. Again, it illustrates how interest rates go up and down. The value of your money. Because again, 100 grand today is not going to be the same 100 grand in 20 years. You understand that, right? So if you're not accumulating that money, we got to show you how to do that. Taxes. How many of you guys love taxes? Be honest. Nobody. Oh, it's crazy. No one loves it. Anybody in your 20s? You got 40 years until retirement. You want $1 million saved, assuming about 5% continuous interest rate over time. You need to save $655 a month starting now to have $1 million. Are you guys saving $655? Not yet, right? Maybe not. You got 20 years, so now you're in your 40s. Anybody in your? Never mind. You're in your 40s and you're just starting off. You got to save $2,400 a month to have $1 million. But if you wait longer, and you're like, well, I'm in my 50s, 55 now. You got to save $6,400 a month. So do you see the problem? Now, what about people who are actually like in their 60s? You're like, well, damn, I think we should start saving for retirement now. They need to save $1,400 a month at $1 million. How many of you guys think $1 million would be enough in retirement? And nuts. It won't be. Because $1 million, if you had 50 grand a year that you're pulling out of it, it's only going to last you 20 years. We're living longer, right? When you see people are living like 100 plus years old, that's a big thing. Like it used to be when I was younger. I remember someone hit 100 years old. They were on like national television. They got their face on the Schmucker's jar. You remember that? Like they would like have a Schmucker's jar for hitting 100 years old. Now it's like, who cares? And that thing is 108, right? Men, we die sooner. Women outlive us. I believe it's because we have to deal with women. And that's why we die.
Oh, Lord.
Plus, we use good stuff too, so you guys are smarter. Whatever. So since we live longer, I know. Ty's gonna stab you.
That goes into the stupid stuff category.
Yeah, I'm gonna die sooner because I say some stuff. So you have to have more money saved, but there's something called the financial independence number that I don't have time to talk about. You have to figure out mathematically what's your financial independence. Very simple. So we can go over that down one. you wrap up some options for our money. You put your money in a fixed account. That's like your bank account, CDs, bonds. You kind of just sit pretty flat, right? You guys ever seen like any love movies, like the main character dies and the heart rate monitor does that? What's that sound like? It's what your money's doing, sitting in a savings account. It's not. Never grows. Variables like the stock market, up and down. Like Armani had mentioned, 2008, a lot of families lost a huge amount of money. They lost more money than they wanted to. Imagine being retired and lose over 30% of your money. Like you hit 65, Rob, you've been saving, oh, here you have $1 million, 300 grand. Right, Mark. Yeah. Now they're not even that, like, they're getting rid of greeters at Walmart now. It's like, dang, man. Index, though. How many of you have ever heard of index? Warren Buffett talks about index. Index is where basically the market tanks, you lock in how much money you have and they'll lose anything. So imagine you go and gamble at Vegas. Anybody been to Vegas or gambled there? You haven't gambled.
I was watching.
You're watching. You were young at the time. You're not supposed to be at the table. Imagine every time you put your money on the table, you never won, you never lost. It just sat there. This is like gambling, right? You may win today, you may lose. The stock market may crash tomorrow. Who knows? No one freaking knows. But what if every time you lost, they just gave you your money back, Robbie? They're like, oh, here's $100 back. But if you won, you got the winnings too. So again, it's about properly educating people. Warren Buffett had $1 million bet with one of his friends. I know. I wish he had enough money to put $1 million. That it was one of his good friends that does active money management, where they look at the computer every day, move money in and out, all those crazy stuff. Versus Warren Buffett saying, I can out-earn your guys with an index fund. Who do you think won? Warren Buffett. They donated $1 million to charity, so I mean, like, that's good. That's like $1 bill for him. You know, like that out here. So again, we have to educate people. It's one, like, again, I don't want to like just harp on index, but every one of these has its place. Fixed is really good when it comes down to emergency funds. Variable, if you want to put some extra money and kind of just hopefully earn with it. But index is where you want to predominantly protect your money so that way you don't lose it. I don't like losing money. If you have $20 in your pocket and you dropped it somewhere in here, what would you guys be doing? What are you looking for? You don't trust anybody. It's like the remote at the house. Hey, where's the sitting on the remote? No, stand up and see. I don't trust you. All the time, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. The same thing with your money. But we do that with the stock market. It loses. What's the number one thing these advisors always say? Going back, worried. Hey, don't worry, your $20 will come back, Robbie. Back pocket again. So you gotta write down, I want you guys to write down which one you want your money to grow in. And taxes. Like I said, every time you get paid, what happens? Tax. When you go and spend money at Target, what happens? When you die, what happens? You can't even die. Like Uncle Sam is waiting at the pearly gates when you die to tax you. Hey, no, you gotta pay your taxes first, homeboy. Ain't happening. So we talk about tax now, like savings accounts, stocks, mutual funds, CDs. That money's accumulating. Every time it's accumulating, you have to pay interest on the accumulation of it. So that's a tax now or a tax always. Tax deferred is your tax later. Your 401ks, IRAs. So if you're 25 years old, you start saving a 401k, you retire at 65, you paid 0 taxes for 40 years. Do you guys think taxes are going to be lower or higher in 40 years from now? If you think they're going to be lower, raise your hand. Later for you. I don't know what they'll be, but they probably won't be lower. Probably won't be the same. They're probably going to continuously go up. So would you rather pay taxes on the seed of the money or the entire harvest of it? The seed, right? Because how many of you guys ever planted corn? I grew up on a cornfield. Every time you plant corn, plant a seed, then it does stuff. Then it has like multiple husks of corn on there, right? I think that's how farming works. You have to really rather pay like tax on the seed or all the husks of corn? Their ears. Whatever that is. That thing, ears, husks, kernels. I don't know.
Those are on the corn cob.
Whatever, it doesn't matter. You got the
On
point.
the seed or on the kernel?
Yeah, see, oh, there you go, even better. This on the seed or on the thousands of kernels. Yeah.
Kernels are the seeds.
Oh, here we go.
I'm so sick of you.
Welcome to my world. If I get a ticket for dealing with him.
Yeah, 2 of them. Then there's tax advantage. Would
Hey,
you guys,
be coachable. Be coachable.
first of all, I said 70% of the time. Anyways, tax advantage. Do you guys think wealthy people love taxes? No, so where would they want to put their money at? More tax advantage. So do you utilize Roth or do you utilize life insurance? Even life insurance that's paid out, doesn't matter what type, term, firm, doesn't matter. Every time you get life insurance paid out, it's all tax exempt. So learning how to actually utilize tax policies is what you need to be focused on. So we want to reduce the impact of taxes during retirement so that way families can actually utilize that money back in their pocket. Last category, estate preservation. How many of you guys, when you pass away, would love for all of your money, your estate, everything you have to go to the government? Man, you guys just don't like your Uncle Sam. How many, where would you guys honestly, if you have the estate set up, where would you want your money to go? Family? Charities, churches, Justin's, whatever. You guys send it to me. Fine. You guys need my last name, put it in your will, it's fine, whatever. But we have to protect our money. Once you've built enough wealth, you sustain it, you knocked out these steps, you gotta make sure it's just securing your family's legacy. My family tree does not have a tree that's like full of money and success. It's a bunch of normal, everyday people. My great grandpa is a Pearl Harbor survivor, got a bunch of military people. When it comes to like ultimate success as well, we're not passing that along. So we have to change that. We have to break that habit and start building that up for families. It's best to make those preparations as soon as possible. Because again, I've heard the saying that having a will, having life insurance is better 5 years too soon than 5 seconds too late. How many of you guys think everyone has a will, right? How many of you guys honestly in here have a will?
Well, it depends. I got one in my head, programmed in my head.
And you don't have a will. Yeah. I'm sorry, but the lawyer's not gonna go to you when you're dead and be like, hold on. It's in her brain, you gotta get it out. Gotta be a legal document, right? Statistically, only 42% of US adults currently have an estate document. 42%. A lot. There's a huge problem. People need it. I don't care who you are, you need something in place. It's obviously alarming because that means that families run a risk of having their inheritance gone. You know, people like Prince, Aretha Franklin, Elvis, even these big, huge people didn't have wills. They didn't have estate stuff. You have to make sure you have that set up. People who have kids, definitely. I just read a story that a special needs child was living with his grandmother. Grandmother passed away. There was no will or documents in place for the kid to go. Wow. So you have to understand how important this is. Make part of your strategy. So at least get a will. And of course, I know. Bill Merrill. So how do you get your papers in order? Work with a qualified lawyer, or there's some programs out there you can utilize online that are very helpful. That it basically you type in old stuff, print it out, get it notarized, and it counts. Your legacy reaches your intended heirs. Again, EHR, HARDT is my last name. Also helps with taxes. You know when there's estate taxes, right? How many of you guys know that there's a estate tax? Anybody know what the amount is? A lot. 40%. So if my will's not properly set up, most of your money, if it's not like you don't have a debt like a spouse, even some of the situations with spouse is tax. Let's say I died, Robbie's my brother, and he got 100 grand in my bank account. He was my only heir left. They're like, yeah, you have to go to probate. Let's say you didn't do that, no court, nothing. 100 grand came to you. You make 40 grand a year in your hypothetical job as my hypothetical brother. At the end of the year, when you file taxes, the government will first of all tax my 100 grand by 40%. So 40 grand doesn't even go to my brother. It goes to Uncle Sam. He doesn't do anything for us. Pothole's still there. So you get 60 grand. They see that you have 60 grand, you made 40 grand for the year. You have $100,000 taxable income, but you only paid 40 grand in taxes. So they're gonna say you owe us money for all the 100 grand that you actually had. Back tax, you pay tax on the 60 grand you got. So my money is taxed twice when I die. Isn't that nuts? Yeah. That's why you have to have the proper documentation in place so you're not taxed twice and you use the money for yourself and your family. So the other thing that's inside of your guys' thing, again, I appreciate you guys coming out. I'm gonna get rid of these last couple prizes. But there's a survey sheet inside your thing, the Financial 101 survey. Please fill that out. Again, schedule one-on-one time. Sean is a certified financial educator. Him and I work really well together. I learned everything from him, so we work together to help people out. Gather your necessary documents. So if you have life insurance, retirement accounts, debts. Gather that stuff up so we can all take a look at it. Determine and prioritize financial goals, prepare to get an education. Again, we're not just gonna sit there and push products. We have to educate clients where they're at and where they're going. And then of course, we recommend a plan, please implement it. Take advantage of it immediately and start building yourself up. And then every year you should be getting a financial checkup. So if you guys can fill those out real quick, we'll get rid of these last couple books, some door prizes, and candy. I'm not taking this home because it will not survive with your phone. Not restarting. Again. So when you guys are done with those, and we'll have meet with you guys in the back, so it's only a few of you. We'll set up a time that we can kind of get together and talk a little bit further. Does that sound good? Sound great? Awesome. This whole fall out. Hey Sean, can I get that thing Grover's book that you have that's like a 1912? Now he has like, what year is that one produced?
I think it was I don't know.
It was old.
It's old. I think
Yeah, it's like leather bound book. Like, if his house catches on fire, he's like gonna go get that book. You know? And if you guys did, you like seriously read this book. It'll take you a few times reading it to catch like that the real secret of it. It's pretty. One of the books I put towards my success that Sean told me to read. Like all the books you read. Yeah, this is the updated version too. You guys ready for some tickets?
Yeah.
496-6059.
Yay.
Nice catch. I played softball and tennis and lacrosse or whatever you did. 496-6063.
Right.
Colby, like Colby. 496-6039.
There you go. Awesome.
See?
You need to do an open.
You guys look at your chairs.
No, it's not. 496-6057.
Oh, it's me. That's really me. Well, I can't have
You
this.
can have that.
He won it.
Jay comes out with that.
Hey,
You can.
there you go, there you go.
Congratulations.
She has the ticket too. Oh, you got all.
496-6064.
She's not gonna pay this.
How many kids you have?
We have twins.
Oh, that's fantastic.
All right.
5 times.
Give out a big Grow Rich book. Last four, 6061.
Oh, you can pass that along because I don't need to. I can't read anyway, so.
Travis,
That's an
kid.
awful-
6058. Last four is 6058.
I want that book.
No.
She can borrow mine.
We live in the same home.
Rocket?
Hey, the gig economy, charge her $5 for it.
That'd be 30 bucks. Maybe that
There you
gig
go.
income or whatever.
The gig economy.
Right, the gig economy. We should be making
Last
sticker for
four.
that.
Last four is 6044.
The $1 million
You want the
put on
book
so
right here.
far.
Oh, that was.
She's doing the $1 million.
Oh, just right.
I still have a
Oh, yeah.
chance.
I know, see, it looks like your mom did that. 6042.
Oh, yes.
Right here.
So close, but so far.
They were very.
Are you sure you put that last batch in there?
Yes, I'm
He
sure.
made us think we were playing it.
You don't need to read for that one, though.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Just eat it.
6033.
I guess I can.
I know, no, it's fine.
Once they're trying.
Poor Mia.
All right, last one, 6038. Kid is dead.
Poor Mia, young girl candy.
I'm gonna take cookies.
There you go.
No problem. I'll be back here to grab those things from you guys. Can you not run into chairs?
Bigger than that?
What's that? No, I know where to fit it.
Two things, share pack, I don't think so.
Can you wipe all the tables and vacuum and push all the chairs?
Yeah, they could say, I'm gonna look at it. Except for the pink on the side.
Exactly, that's what they do.
Coming out. Oh.
I got these dogs on the truck. I believe this is part of my 7-day challenge. Justin had a.
Tonight? You already broke it?
I broke. I'm starting again tomorrow.
You guys, I'm out of here.
Congratulations.
I got something, I got some quiet things right here in my hand. Read, but do it part of my challenge.
Well, thank you so much, like, really enjoying it.
Glad you guys got some stuff.
Yes, we have to move it back.
So, should you guys,
Go there and find out what's best for everybody?
Yeah, you do.
So you're trying to tell me?
No, I'm trying to throw this in the trash can.
Yeah, the trash can's right here.
18th to the 25th?
Thank you so much, Justin.
here for you.
A financial beauty firm.
I don't care per se.
Financial.
Trademark.
I mean, I have no
Financial.
plan. It's not like I'm going anywhere. I just need other people have plans.
Try to get out for Saturday.
This is a great meeting, I really enjoyed it. Like, I learned
Okay,
so
all
much.
right, so you let me know. And then we'll go.
Then you'll be a financial beauty pro.
All right, beauty and the beast.
All right.
What are we?
Good job, bud.
Burger and fries, guys.
I'll see you guys later.
I'll see you later. Oh, man.
Okay, what time is it?
All right, pull out the phone and look at the time. You Android users, I'm sick of y'all.
Man.
What? He said,
Thank you
okay,
so
Google,
much.
what time is it? I said, Armani, if you don't pull out that phone.
I could make